Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It's round number 2 of the 2025 Play It Again Sports Jonesboro Open, presented by Westside Disc. Our leader, Ben Callaway, off to a great start that we saw in round 1. He'll be joined by Väinö Mäkelä, coming out of Finland, Braeden Sides, who just celebrated a birthday, and Gossage, who had also a great round going. We'll see if he can carry some of that momentum, and I'm joined by none other than Parker Welck. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great today. I can't wait to get into the action. Seems like there was just a bit of weather for this round, so we're going to see how it plays out for these guys. We'll get into hole 1. It's 520 feet, and it's a scary starting hole, especially if there's that headwind, because this OB section right here, it's tough to even get over. A lot of the time, you're going to see people, flipping their discs over and finding that out of bounds more than likely. But if you can get it close, you're stoked.
Yeah, the sunshine from the drone preview from Disc Golf Van Life a couple days ago doesn't quite reflect what we're seeing here on Saturday afternoon, but we'll see what the wind and the weather will bring. Same overstable driver that we saw from Callaway. He leaned into that quite a bit during the opening round. We just appreciate for a second the shoe matching the shirt there.
I didn't even notice. I'm going to go back and take a look at that.
Outfit on point.
I think that's it. Found safe. So right there's going to be that OB line. I'm very surprised that's actually in bounds. Very fortunate break there.
Braeden Sides opened with a 13 under, as did Väinö in round number 1, trailing Callaway by 4 strokes. Is that similar to where you were in the opening round?
Yeah, I think that's kind of a common play. It's pretty stress-free as long as you don't 6-putt. If you miss that, go back and watch round 1 action.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but
hey, man, I got it covered. Gossage finding that right side, which if you throw it far enough, I think you get past the actual out-of-bounds line itself. And Braeden lining up the over-the-top shot, which can be very scary, and that'll happen.
Yeah, not much forward progress, trying to steer clear of that high line.
Wow, Väinö found the pocket. Very fortunate.
Väinö comes in as the 4th highest rated player in the event at 1027.
It's such a difficult shot. I mean, you're that close, but there's so much wind that's happening, and just the slightest off angle, or you hit maybe a stick on the ground, and your angle just flares up and goes the opposite direction you want it to go. Ben making that look pretty easy, but I'm sure he didn't have a very big gap from in there.
Braeden now with his 4th and able to give it a little look, but going to be a rough start here. He's likely lining up double bogey, and just outside the circle is where we find Gossage. Well, he had a chance to get a stroke on Ben, but it looks like he's just going to be matching him as Väinö's in for the par.
And I can't imagine there's many birdies on this starting hole.
Yeah, we called it that it was playing as one of the most difficult birdies to get in round number 1. I believe there was only 2 of them on the entire day, and I'm pretty sure there was only 3 of them during the second round here. Excuse me, there were just 2 during round number 2. So out of 51 competitors taken to the course, 2 of them able to walk away with the birdie. We head to hole 2.
Such a bonus hole. Not hole 2, hole 1. But hole 2, it's 290 feet. I mean, it looks like it's right there, but it is so far uphill, and if there's a headwind, it's making it play like 450 feet or something crazy. So you're going to want to throw it just kind of into the ground, because as we saw yesterday, there's going to be people hyzering out left if you get the angle wrong, and then you're just left with a long circle 2 look.
Stay straight.
As you said, significantly uphill, 290. You think this plays 340, 350, or even more?
More, way more.
Really?
If there's a headwind, for sure. I know I'm crushing on a 12 speed, like pretty much as hard as I can, but low. Let's just say it's very difficult to go long on this basket.
And Väinö looks to have held on to that too long and pulls that one off to the right. We'll see if he's obstructed, and that's the general area that we're seeing Gossage get to as well. Sneak just inside and, yeah, flirts with that right side, but he's going to have a look for birdie. You know, you talked about that yesterday with the wind, and the miss for a lot of players in windy conditions seems to be low. And we'll have to see if that actually plays out here today as well.
I mean, we've already seen, what, 2 or 3 into the cage already. So I think it's going to be a common occurrence, even still.
I love Gossage wrestling with the branch there because his umbrella was getting him hung up on it, and that's the same branch that knocked down his putt.
I don't think that'll be there after his round. I think he's going to go take care of that one.
We head over to the third.
This one seems to be pretty routine if you have a sidearm, which I believe all of these guys probably do. I'm not sure so much about Braeden's sides. I really haven't seen him play too much, but you just kind of throw it up into the sky and hope it crashes down into circle 1. If you miss a little right, that's where the danger is, because you're not necessarily going to be having a bunch of looks from inside those woods. I mean, almost throws it in. Sorry, Braeden. I cannot believe I said what I said.
I mean, you maybe haven't had a ton of rounds of golf with him, and if you're not doing coverage every weekend, it's understandable you don't know everyone's game just yet. But that's the mistake you were just talking about, is coming in short and right. He'll still probably have a lane, but it's going to be obstructed or an awkward stance.
Way off. I think he must have just pulled that one. He's going to be left with a very long look, but it is a look still.
A pretty stock shot for someone of Gossage's caliber. Maybe just outside of the straddle putt range. It's going to go to more of a staggered pitch.
Perfect pace on that, too. I mean, we watched Ben go a little long on his first putt and miss the comebacker, so maybe Väinö got a little bit of that from Ben, because I knew that they were staying together. They probably talked about it.
There's Ben with an opportunity for birdie. Comes up short, hitting the cage. And Gossage.
Great catch by the basket.
We were saying that yesterday, weren't we?
Yeah.
I mean, he couldn't have been mad. Had that slid out or just flopped out on that high left side, I don't think you would have been too mad about it. I'm a little disappointed, but you can't expect that to catch where that hit. But somehow it dragged it in for him.
That's a missed putt in my book.
Well, the scorecard will argue otherwise, and Gossage is taking a chance to, taking his opportunity, I should say, to get one closer to Callaway. just like that, we've got 3 guys at 13, all 4 back of our leader. Keeping in mind there's 27 holes to play, so knowing there's plenty of time and a lot of golf, especially in some crazy conditions we might see as we head to the 4th.
A really tight gap off the tee. It seems to be a lot of people throwing to this left side over here, right to the left of that tree. And from there, you're going to be throwing like a spike hyzer into the trees on the right here, and kind of just getting lucky through it, really. You can't really predict getting through that tree. So if you hit the trees, long circle 2 look, get through it, circle 1 look. That's all you want. He turned around. He loved that.
Yeah, he doesn't need to even look. It's right exactly where he wanted it. You can be too far left on this one, can't you? Or how is that shot?
I mean, for these guys, they all have a ton of power. It's just going to be a really long spike hyzer. But, I mean, we watched Ben have to throw over the top yesterday on one of the craziest shots of the day. So, I mean, you're going to have to get creative if you're too far left, maybe too long. Okay, so I don't think that drops straight down, so he will have a look for birdie. It's going to take a ton of power, but he can get there.
He's going to finish just short and on the left side. Taking the sides, Braeden also short and left, but should have a look at it. It's really just about picking a point in the sky or some other obstacle that you're thinking about to try and use as your aiming point. And Ben has to again go an alternative route. He told me he's never really practiced the 2 shots that he had to throw here this weekend on that left side. We'll see how that one works out for him.
And Ben has a ton of power. It really surprised me with playing with him this week. I did not know he had all of that power in the tank.
I think that's what all those gym gains will get you. And pretty good form, of course. Oh,
Great
solid.
putt. The wind was howling there, too.
It's easy for aggressive putts, especially from where Väinö just was, that if you're not drawing metal and it's not slowing it down or stopping, it can get away from you real quick with the slope directly behind the pin. Putting clinic going on here.
And Väinö with the birdie from way downtown. That was a great spot to land from where his drive was.
Taking nothing for granted, even the shorter ones, and that's high into the headwind, and still able to capitalize, but thinking about all of them out there. This PDGA A tier, 2 rounds of 27. We head to the 5th.
Yeah, 5th is one of those holes where it's pretty easy in practice just because there's never any wind in practice. And of course, it's always super windy during the tournament. But there's usually a headwind here, which is going to cause your disc to either drop or maybe filter into the right side where all those trees are. And it's kind of a jail over there on the right side. So they're going to want to avoid that. Filters through pretty good. I mean, I think he'll have a look from there. If you're behind all of those trees where he kind of entered, then it gets really tricky. But from there, he has an easy 3 layup if he wants it.
Some might look at this hole and see it dog-legging, left to right. and then think naturally, well, if you've got a good forehand, that's the play. Why wouldn't someone step up and just throw the forehand here?
The issue with the forehand is there is too much opportunity for the flare skip, so it's going to be a lot harder to land close with the sidearm, but I think it's a better play if you're just looking to get through the gap. Because when you throw that backhand, it kind of hits the hill and filters up there in like the perfect direction towards the basket, and you can see that it's pretty hard packed dirt. So if a forehand hits on top, it's gone. See it later.
Understandably, the nice, safe, conservative layup just to put it next to the pin, eliminate any putting challenges. And Ben's going to do pretty much the exact same, forced to do it from back there. And you can see maybe a little frustration there, knowing that that tee shot wasn't in place and somewhat of a slow start for him, as he's looking to be only 1 under through 5. Meanwhile, Gossage trying to pull another stroke closer. Braeden with almost the exact same spot as where Gossage was. You can see him being tentative on the putt, worried about that backdrop and the slope behind the pin. This played as the 4th most difficult hole on the course, which is somewhat surprising. We only saw 4 birdies out of 51 competitors here in this second round.
That does surprise me a ton. I think this is a very gettable hole. It's just very difficult when it's wind. Get the hole 6, 560 feet. So we're kind of going to be throwing, depending on the wind, probably an overstable fairway or distance driver just to land right about here. If you go too short, kind of in jail. Go too long, you're in jail. You got to hit it right. Then you're going to hit a sidearm going into the pin. You can either go low or high. The medium play just really isn't there with all the limbs hanging down.
Gossage looks to have found the perfect landing zone. I mean, if you really just break this up into 2 simple shots and execute, obviously it feels like the birdie should be right there for the taking, but setting yourself up in a good position off the tee is so critical here. Because if you come up short and left, you're likely not making it all the way around the corner and then being able to attack the pin. So you really need the setup shot here off this tee. You see that white stake right there in frame. That was actually put there because of Simon Lizotte many years ago. One of our first times out here, Simon took a Simon line out to the left, and they put that Mando in play mid-tournament to take away that option for players to go that route because Simon, so to speak, broke the hole. So that's been there ever since.
That is crazy. I can't even imagine taking that line.
Yeah, just going left. And speaking of short and left, Väinö just perfectly bends that so that he's able to get around the corner and then push up toward the pin. Solid shot. And Braeden having more of the stock shot that you're looking for, exactly what Ben is looking at here as well. Just put yourself out in the open, then you should have this easy forehand pitch, whether it's high or low, depends on what you're doing with the wind, but that's pretty much textbook.
I think historically this hole plays as one of the easier holes. I mean, especially when it is on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. This is one that's birdied a ton. I think if you miss this hole, you're definitely giving one back to the field.
Extra props for that approach. Not many people are able to get to the pin from where he was. So for him to still walk away with birdie is very impressive. Today didn't play quite as easy as it typically would, but averaged overall at 3.96. We saw 27% of the field picking up birdies.
Look at the hole 7. It's 655 feet. This is one that's reachable for the biggest of big arms in the sport, but you're going to see a lot of people throwing just past the OB line. That's about 450 feet away, slightly downhill. Then it's going to take a pretty short shot, maybe putter or mid-range, land on just on top of the hill, have it shuffled down, and hopefully you don't get a bad rollaway here. That's right where you want to be.
Certainly workable.
Dropping on him. I thought it was going to get those trees, and if you do hit those trees, there is that out-of-bounds line. It's kind of like playing as a river-ish, so you hit those trees, drop, you're going to be out of bounds.
Now it's going to split the difference between the first two drives.
Go again.
Oh, he looks like maybe a foot or two short of the OB line.
Yeah, and pro tip here, I don't think I caught it on camera, but Braeden did call provisional before he threw this shot because they didn't walk up and know for sure if he was out of bounds. And so he called a provisional, and I can't stress enough how smart of a play that is. Then the group walked up to the lie a few seconds later, found that he was about a meter short of being in bounds. And so ultimately his shot's going to stand as is. But such a good play, and call the provisional just in case it was in bounds.
Yeah, and it saves a ton of time just calling a provisional. You don't have to walk all the way there and then walk all the way back. So good on Braeden.
Yeah. Big thanks to Michael from Disc Golf Van Life, who's just got done capturing the FPO action and then runs back on the course to catch up with us for catch cam here from here on out. And I just can't say enough about him and his wife out there hustling around getting the 54 holes of FPO action. All available on Disc Golf Van Life, where you get to watch the great battle that unfolds over there as Braeden needs that to sit down. But a missed opportunity for him. But anyway, big shout out. Michael has helped countless times on my channel, including some drone coverage here, and then catch cam, and then hustling around to get his own footage, all for the tournament's sake. It was a crazy weekend for them, so appreciate what they're doing. Go subscribe to those guys over at Disc Golf Van Life on YouTube.
That takes stamina. 227
Are you
rounds?
kidding?
Come on. I'm
Yeah.
pretty much completely tired by the end of my 127, so.
Exactly. That's why I couldn't say it enough times throughout the weekend how appreciative I was and what kind of stud he is to be out there hustling around basically for 2 rounds a day of 27. So a couple more birdies. Callaway's 3 under on the round, and Gossage is 4 under on the round. We head to this uphill shot.
I think today there's a chance they're going to be taking this hyzer line instead of up the gut shot because they have more so of power throwers than we saw in the first round. So I'm thinking we'll maybe see 2 here. 2 hyzers and 2 up the middle. That's my guess. Could be completely wrong, but it's mostly just going to be the rollaways that you got to worry about. This is a guy that I for sure thought was going to take the hyzer. Oh, he did.
353, playing at least 400 in power.
Oh, yes. And especially in this sort of wind, it's going to be kind of knocking your disc down. It's going to be hard to even get it far enough left to reach the basket.
Well, and you called it. That somebody would go up the middle, and that was Ben going deep.
And
Just below the basket on the deep side.
I think during practice, we were going fairway drivers, and during the tournament, we had to disc up just because there was so much wind. So it is kind of a foreign shot to be taking this gap with a distance driver.
Safe with a long look. And Boy, did you call it. You genuinely didn't know. Yeah,
Wow.
you called 2 hyzers and 2
I'm a
up the
beast.
guts. Yeah, you are. Matter if that fully sat down. When it's coming in at that angle, it's easy to pop up and then roll away by 20 or 30 feet. But it looks like he's going to be at least at circle's edge or better, because that's where Väinö is, and he's going first.
Off the band, and it sits, which is pretty fortunate. This slope is actually very steep. You do not want to hit metal and miss and have it flop around.
Just enough frustration and little twigs there to annoy Callaway and force the missed putt. Here's sides. That's one he's got to take advantage of after such a great drive. And Gossage will pull one closer to Callaway and pull away from Väinö. Fair to say that a 5-stroke lead for Callaway feels, I'll say, does it feel safe with 27 holes? I mean, 18
That's
holes.
the thing.
Right?
I mean, going into the round, he's got to be thinking, like, yeah, I'm taking this down for sure, but that's if it's 18 holes. 27 holes causes so much disruption. Anything can happen, and especially with that center 9 holes, you can go 9 through 9 on it pretty easily. Or maybe there's 8 holes, actually.
Yeah, it's not as quite as comfortable, obviously, with more opportunities as we head to the 9th hole.
Yeah, you're mostly going to see some sidearms here. There is that hazard to the left. It's kind of an area. If you do go out of bounds, you're going to play it from inside and just take a penalty stroke. It is kind of hard to go right on this hole, so you're going to see a lot of just super overstable sidearms and really try and push it towards that right side.
Fair to say that you're playing for that low area just to then have the hill put on the brakes for you? Is that the most obvious play here?
Yes, but also they're going this low because there is a branch going across the entire fairway. It almost seems like you could see it right there in frame on the right side of your screen. So if you go just under that, you should be pretty good as long as it's on a good hyzer angle.
Callaway pretty much matches the effort that we saw from Gossage. This looks wide.
Ooh, in and out.
Yeah, he will be in bounds.
And that's very, very common to happen. It's pretty hard to get your disc to fly right, with, especially with this right to left wind. But he nails it.
From a knee, outside of the circle, downhill slope, walks away with the par. So very impressive after having the hazard stroke added. And Väinö, who's got a much easier look than what we just saw from Braeden, at least, isn't able to capitalize.
The more eyes you can get on the sport, the better it is.
Väinö sure does put a bunch of nose-down angle on his putts. That's a ton of movement. Pretty cool to watch.
Hole averaged over par just barely, playing at 3.02 on the day. We would ultimately see a third of the field roughly birdie at 17 players, including the 2 here on the lead card. We head to the old hole 18, which is now hole 10.
This is a great hole. I absolutely love this hole. It takes 2 great shots in order to get a birdie here. If you do play it safe, I think it is pretty easy to par, but there is so much danger on this hole. You're going to just want to find the fairway off the tee, and if you're in position to attack the basket, you're attacking. Otherwise, you're probably just going to lay up right around the grouping of trees, take your par. And this is a play we really don't see too often. It is very wind dependent. Right in the fairway. I actually don't know what he's going to have from there. Maybe he'll have that hyzer on the right side, which is pretty rare to have unless you're pretty far right.
No way, dude.
Kick, a second kick, and
Is that in bounds? No.
ultimately, no, out of bounds.
Nice shot to have
Nearly
nothing.
perfect?
So that's the thing. He threw it so good, but he'll be right behind that grouping of trees, which is so frustrating after a drive like that.
Braeden's just trying to stay out of the OB, and you can see there's a barbed wire fence, and that's also then the next hole that is playing parallel to this hole. But Ben, after going out of bounds, is going to take up to 2 meters to pull off the barbed wire fence, pull away from it, and hoping to find his way to get up and down, possibly saving the bogey. And that's exactly where Gossage's has landed, and he's
Wow.
in prime position.
This is perfect. This is exactly where you want to land. He's throwing fairway from there. That's not something you see too often. I thought he landed pretty short off the tee. I thought he might have had to go distance driver. As Braeden needs to come back. And he'll find that out of bounds.
Yeah, you got to wonder if he just flipped his wrist there or if it was disc choice. Obviously, the wind was doing more than he was anticipating. The question is, was it an angle? Was it disc? I'm not sure what it was, but out of bounds for sides. Here's Callaway just trying to get up and down. And, wow, he's going to leave himself a tester. After the OB and then watching a couple of perfect shots by Gossage, he definitely has to feel the footsteps of Gossage and a major momentum swing at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I can already see it in his body language. He's kind of giving up on his shots just a bit.
And rather than being low, that one goes up and over. So this is for a double bogey 6. He falls back to 19, and that means we're going to see a 3-stroke swing, assuming Gossage puts in here from right near the bullseye. And he's going to go through full routine. He's obviously feeling how important a moment like this is.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a bonus hole. And to watch your competitor take a big number on it, and while you take the birdie and tie it up, that's a huge momentum boost for Gossage.
Yeah, just think they've played 10 holes, and he erased the 5-stroke deficit. You couldn't draw it up much better than that. If
No,
you're, of course, Gossage. Not so much if you're Callaway.
Yeah. We'll get to B10, kind of a trickier hole. There is out of bounds kind of everywhere. You have to land it pretty much perfectly. You're going to see some sort of hyzer if it's really high and over the trees, or some players like to go low. But it's going to be hard to get into circle 1, especially with that left to right wind. It's not going to help your disc go left. Gossage going really high. Wow. He was going like Spike Heiser over the left trees, which is crazy.
You saw him land just a few feet short of the OB fence line. Down there all the way on the green. Here's Mäkelä. And he gets hung up there in the center. How do you feel about these higher shots as we're feeling a couple of raindrops and other things starting up on us? How do you feel about the higher shot versus like the low line drive?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of whatever people are comfortable with. I was taking the lower line, or I guess like a mid, the medium line. But over the top is what you need to do if you want to be aggressive and get the birdie. I just think it's a lot more difficult to land safely.
Just outside of the circle. is where we saw Callaway. And after Väinö landed in that center area, that's considered out of bounds. So you go to this drop zone, which all but guarantees you a bogey at best. Sides has a chance from 40 feet.
Wow.
Gets it.
Super good putt. That was like all wind keeping that up. It looked like he was just watching it and waiting for it. Love when that happens and they go in.
Remember, Ben got away with one yesterday on this hole. Today misses completely. He's still out. You see the frustration as he collects his par putt. And Gossage, just like on the previous hole, even on a very short look, going through full routine, not taking anything for granted. This is for the outright lead after they've played just 11 holes.
That's huge for Gossage. That is so big. He's feeling it. And when he sees his number above Ben's number, he's going to keep going.
He is 8 under through 11 holes. And that's after parring the first 2. So clearly stringing them together at this point. And we head to the shortest hole of the tournament.
Which is kind of should be a gimme. I mean, the gap off the tee, it'll get you. It got me yesterday, and actually it got me in this round 2 as well. But all you got to do is miss the tree, and you're right up there, probably circle 1 if you throw it right. But really nothing else besides this one tree in the center.
Could have done without the roll, but still inside the circle, and his putts looked very good so far today. So he'll take that. Here's Braeden. Are you serious? Hits the pole and then rolls to 11 meters. Ben will take any pressure off his putter and maybe just a sigh of relief for a moment, knowing all momentum is in Gossage's favor, and now he's got a tap-in birdie, and he won't be losing a stroke. I'm not sure if Braeden knows exactly what happened. I mean, I guess he's assuming. He knew he threw a good shot, but to know it rolled all the way over to there,
yeah,
and then he's going to walk away with the par, the lone par on the card because Gossage is in. He's keeping it rolling, 9 under through 12.
And Gossage isn't really someone who's known for his putting, but in round 1, he went 14 for 16 circle 1, which is really good considering the wind we had. So, I mean, he's definitely having a good tournament.
We're almost halfway through this final round, and he has the outright lead by 1 over Callaway. And Callaway, we all know, has been so close to winning this tournament for a number of years, and then bust out the hot round yesterday. Right now, he's feeling the all the pressure of our new leader in Gossage.
Yeah,
I mean, B12.
And this tournament, it feels like a Pro Tour event because this is a course we play on the Pro Tour, of course. So all the feelings are there, and you really want to win this one. But B12, 305 feet. You're going to throw a sidearm and probably just have it land circle's edge short of the basket, and it's pretty steep downslope, so it's just going to shuffle up towards the pin.
Do you like the idea of a mid? I know we talked about what was in your bag and available to you yesterday, but do you like the idea of just a really overstable mid, probably like a zone or something like Ben's throwing here, or is it a fairway that you're trying to slide or skip?
So it's something that doesn't glide. You can throw literally anything you want at this hole, being 305 feet, but you just have to throw something that really just doesn't glide too much. Because like that downslope, if you throw it, just 2 feet off your angle and it's not overstable, it's going to be gone way down the hill.
nearly perfect from Väinö. Comes in short, and then, as you said, just checks up almost immediately. See, those flags are just ripping. Hearing a little bit of the wind. And constantly worried, are we going to get out the umbrella? Are we going to put it back away? Are we going to feel some raindrops? Is it going to open up and truly pour on us? All of those thoughts are going through our head as we're watching the radar throughout the round.
There we go. Great putt from the circle's edge. That's got to feel good.
And he's got to be thinking he needs it. I mean, watching what Gossage is doing, just simply not slowing down. And Gossage puts yet another birdie on the card. That's 10 birdies in 13 holes. Little star frame action.
And Väinö's kind of having a sneaky good round as well. Only 4 back from Ben now.
Yeah, they've really distanced themselves, and Braeden with that rough start has fallen back. I mean, he's sitting 1 over, and you compare that to what Gossage is doing, who's just shredding. As this is the final hole of our front half coverage. A little 250 uphill.
Yeah, really nothing to it. No danger, really, unless you throw it in the woods on the right. Just going to throw it up there, and if you land outside of Circle 1, you haven't done yourself any favors. So, pretty much a must-get here.
Yeah, it'll play as the second easiest today. I think it was first easiest yesterday. Second easiest hole on the course today, averaging .65 under par.
And this is one where I for sure thought someone was going to ace. I'm not sure anyone got an ace this whole tournament.
There was an ace in round number 1 as Ben steps up and off the
right
chain.
as I say it.
Yes.
Come on.
Wow, what a momentum shift that would have been. Just thinking, is this what I need to do? As he gives me the look. Like, what? Is that what he needs to do? I mean, think about what Gossage is doing as we're taking another look at it fully from the catch cam. Gossage is unstoppable, and Ben's like, damn, do I have to throw this in just to try and keep up with him? So, nice shot there by Callaway. When's the last time you aced, Parker?
I don't even know at this point. I have not a clue.
It's been a minute?
Probably sometime earlier on this year.
Okay. Yeah, you get out and play a lot of golf, so I expect you to ace all the time. But that's what I want to know in the comments. When's the last time you got yourself an ace? I don't care the distance of the hole. If it was tee to pin in one shot, that's what I want to know, when the last time you got your ace was. As we love the shot there by Callaway. Put that in the comments. Like, share, subscribe to all the YouTube things. Make sure you subscribe to Van Life, Disc Golf Van Life on YouTube. And how can they go out and follow your journey? Where should they go check you out, Parker?
You can check me out. We're actually just dropping a new website, losangelesdg.com, and it'll have all of my hats, my shirts, my windbreakers, hoodies, you name it. It's on the site. If you want to support me, that's how you're going to do it.
Awesome. And also follow you on the Instagrams, right? That's where you're often posting as well.
Yep, this goat on Instagram. Go ahead, give me a follow as well.
We're going to follow these guys as they're closing out on the front. I keep wanting to call it a front 9 out of sheer habit, of course, but the front half, we're going to see them conclude on the back. If it's not obvious, it's going to be a damn good battle as we're looking at Callaway and Gossage, just 1 stroke apart. Callaway is 1 behind Gossage, who hunted him down after a 5-stroke deficit in round number 1. We're going to see this battle unfold, and maybe somebody else can make a charge. I know Jesse Nieminen is 9 under at this point. So impressive what he's doing is he's making a charge. So with that, that's the front half of Jonesboro Open round number 2. I'm the Disc Golf Guy along with Parker Welck. We'll find you in the fairway in the back half.